Hey guys, welcome back to Backpocket Game Reviews, and today we're going to talk about how GameStop is grading their employees. So, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the videos, don't forget to drop a like. It helps us grow the community and the channel. And today's video is brought to you by Saber Prime. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a employee bring to my attention that GameStop now has a new grading scale for their employees. It is called the Selling Culture Assessment. So essentially, this is a way to figure out how their employees are doing and kind of to go from there. Now, again, all retailers have some kind of assessment or some way of grading the employees that work there and do sales jobs or cash register jobs. So this isn't really new. My issue is GameStop's is literally all based around selling. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, retailers do need to sell extra stuff to make extra cash. My issue is that GameStop tends to use, essentially what they would call forced sales or pushy sales. There's suggestive selling, which is sort of like giving your opinion or why you think something would be that way or recommending it. GameStop typically likes to do the whole we're not going to take no for an answer and continue to push even after you've said no, which is typically where I have my issues. So it's called the Selling Culture Assessment. And the top says our vision, solve for the guest's need and then develop a rapport that moves the conversation to authentically selling the value of the circle of life. Now, if you're not familiar with what the circle of life is, it's buy, sell, trade. That's the circle of life. I feel it just goes in one giant circle. The circle of life is also a grading scale that they brought about that caused a bunch of uproar. The first selling culture level 4 is selling. It goes on about pitching their passion, essentially making sure that they're offering everything there is. Then there's solving, which is essentially the people that help the guests and kind of assist them a little more. I'm not really sure how they're going to really use this as a rating system. To be completely honest, it kind of sucks. This is more like what kind of employee you are, what kind of a salesperson you are. Solving is essentially they are listening to the guest's needs and making recommendations that are not consistently developing true rapport with the guests in order to authentically move the discussion to the circle of life. Because, of course, it's all going to come back to the circle of life. GameStop likes to, when you work there, pitch this whole propaganda of 70% of our customers don't even know we sell used games. That's BS. Almost everyone knows you sell used games. Most people just don't want used games. I won't say most people. Depending on the price difference, people want used games. But when you're putting a $5 price difference, no one really wants your used game. So you got solving, and then you got serving. The store provides service only. Members of the staff are friendly and welcoming, but do not engage guests in a selling discussion. Guests are usually greeted and asked if they need help, but not much more. And true rapport that authentically moves the discussion to the circle of life is rarely established. So that's serving. And I assume the district manager is doing this as a overall stores kind of score. And that's culture level 2. So they want to move to a selling culture. And that's fine. That's how you should be as a retailer. My issue is you're kind of pushing stuff that doesn't really go together. And I mean, it's most evident when you look at like the Think Geek bundles that GameStop doesn't truly understand its market. Or even when you're in GameStop, there's a lot of times where, you know, they're pitching you all these different add-ons. I mean, you got to kind of be more considerate of what you're pitching and what you're offering a customer than what they do. Struggling. The store is not providing even basic level service. Guests are not greeted or approached on the sales floor, and the staff is nearly always behind the counter. they call it cash wrap. Engaged in operational activities. In a struggling store, you will not hear even basic selling techniques being utilized. Store staff can be observed greeting guests on the floor and phone using GLO, greet, listen, offer. Greet, listen, offer. Oh, man. GLO and Circle of Life are in bold letters numerous times on here. Our Circle of Life solutions offered to suit the circumstances guests' needs, including using the yes and selling technique. Yes and. Man, GameStop, you really just know how to sell, don't you? So, I mean, back when I worked at GameStop, it was pretty simple. Hi, is there anything I can help you find today? Are you looking for anything in particular? The conversation will kind of move from there. Typically, the person's either going to ask you about games in a certain type of category that maybe they're interested in, or they might not. They might already kind of know what they want. Maybe they're in there for one specific thing, or they're in there to just browse. Now, if someone says, no, I'm good, and you continue to try to open up that dialogue and continue to talk and preach about sales, a lot of times that person's already kind of, I'm just sort of looking around, and you're going to kind of push them out the door. Now, by all means, don't get me wrong, I understand, but here's my difference between selling with GameStop and selling with anywhere else, or buying anywhere else. With GameStop, it's, did you want to get, did you want to pre-order anything today? No, I'm good. Are you sure Battlefield's up for pre-order right now? Call of Duty? No, I'm good. And they'll continue to keep pitching. Now, not every GameStop, obviously, that's based on the employee, but what corporate wants out of GameStop is for you to beat the customer into submission. Now, don't get me wrong, I always had my pitch, did you want to get the GPG on that? Do you have any kids or anything? You can pretty much take this thing outside and play Frisbee with it, and we'll cover the disc. Back in the day of the Xbox 360, that was actually pretty important. Or even if you have kids and they have 3DS games, kids can break the 3DS games. I'm not even kidding you. It's something that has happened in my family on numerous occasions. But Nintendo, if they're within a year, will actually swap those games out, by the way. So, GameStop just likes this very pushy sales tactic. And a lot of customers, specifically the people in my age range, tend to not really enjoy that particular method of sales. It comes off as pushy and less organic. And I get where they're trying to make it seem like it should be organic, but it's not. Not to the level of what they're wanting. It should be a quick pitch and done. If the person says no, they say no. And keep in mind, when I was at GameStop, I had some of the best numbers percentage-wise in my district. So they used to do it all based on a percentage. I believe they still do. The Circle of Life was kind of all based on a percentage as well. So it's kind of weird to see them progressing over to this, because we didn't really have this kind of a metric, and there was no real observation forms or ranking system when I worked there outside of it showing you the percentage you ranked in the district. So, and I get it, GameStop sales aren't doing as good as what they want. They have not been netting the year-over-year profit jump that they've wanted. And so sometimes when that happens and your business starts to slow down, you resort to these kind of sales tactics. GameStop gets a lot of hate, and they lose a lot of customers over the things that they implement. There are ways that GameStop could bounce back, but I strongly doubt with the cultures that they're trying to bring into their actual stores that it's ever going to actually happen. So, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments down below about all this. Again, I'm not against them pushing extra stuff. I'm against how they push the extra stuff. But just let me know what you guys think down below, or if you even have some interesting stories you want to talk about while you were at GameStop, just leave them down in the comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll have plenty more content coming for you, so stick around.